Let's go get this motherfucker!
Shut up! Everything's under control. I promise you.
Hey guys, today we're diving deep into the grime and glory of A Working Man 2025, a movie that proves you don't need a cape to be a hero, just a hard hat and maybe a wrench. We follow Frank, your average, salt-of-the-earth construction worker whose biggest daily challenge is usually just finding his favorite coffee mug. But as we'll soon see, Frank's world is about to get a lot more complicated than a tricky demolition job. Grab your popcorn, because this blue-collar saga is anything but boilerplate. If you had a good time with this, a like and a subscribe is a free way to help me keep making more.
He needs to get back to work.
Aguante. Vamos, ya, vamos.
Hello, Johnny. The ones your friends. Is that my problem? Mind. Who's you in the bathtub? In the till? Fuck you!
Fucking bloodlines. Fucking right I am.
The brothers, a league of...
You clearly are somebody.
Keep them tidy. Fuck you! Not stopping until I do.
You.
All right.
Get him.
Enough!
Get from you.
You're in the pit room. Right. Why are you two assholes?
That man was our uncle.
You wouldn't
Fucking move! Fight!
My name is Jenny Garcia.
Gotta be.
Fucking phone! Give me the
Fuck! Yeah, we still got her.
date tonight at the farmhouse.
I'm real pretty for you.
No.
Sleep. Down, sleep.
Make a deal and you begin a new life as a wealthy. Okay, Demi. There. You have a daughter?
house right now.
Where'd the man mount up?
To go now, sir.
Why? That's the best part. I wonder.
The fuck was that? Fucking shooting?
Who's gonna...
Shooting the place up!
Let's go get this motherfucker! Demon! Let us do this!
I promise you.
Is your real name?
Levin. I wasn't with you.
I know, brother.
What's that mean?
Follow me.
There's an active shooter.
Today, we're diving deep into the surprisingly explosive world of A Working Man, the 2025 flick that proves you should never, ever mess with someone's paycheck, or their family for that matter. We follow John Miller, a guy whose life is as predictable as a Monday morning alarm, until it all goes gloriously off the rails. Get ready for some industrial espionage, unexpected heroism, and enough clangy, metallic sound effects to make a robot cry. If you had a good time with this, a like and a subscribe is a free way to help me keep making more Dotso. Our man John is just trying to get through his shift at the Liberty Steelworks. Subtlety isn't this movie's strong suit. Folks, when he notices something off, a massive, anonymous container is being loaded, not by their usual crew, but by some serious-looking dudes in black suits. The metallic rumble of the forklift is unnaturally loud against the hum of the factory, almost like a warning. John, ever the observant sort, points it out to his buddy Mike, who just shrugs, probably thinking it's just another Secret Santa delivery. But John's gut, that trusty old factory worker gut, tells him this isn't about holiday cheer. The thud of the container hitting the truck bed vibrates through the concrete, a physical manifestation of his unease. He feels the grit of the factory floor under his worn boots, a constant reminder of the honest work he's always known. But something about this shipment just feels fundamentally unclean. This is where the quiet hum of routine starts to give way to the discordant clang of impending trouble, and John's peaceful existence is about to get a rather rude awakening. No more punch clocks, just punches. Eventually, John can't shake the feeling. Later that night, while everyone else is clocking out, he doubles back. Armed with his trusty wrench and a whole lot of questions, he sneaks into the deserted section where those weird containers were. The silence of the empty factory is unnerving, broken only by the distant drip of a leaky pipe and the frantic thumping of his own heart. He spots a fresh batch of steel beams, identical to the ones loaded earlier. With a grim resolve, he fires up his cutting torch, a familiar hiss and the blinding flash of molten metal as he slices into one. Sparks fly, a dazzling cascade against the dark, gritty backdrop, painting temporary patterns of light. The crackle of the torch feels like thunder in the stillness. And then he finds it, a meticulously hidden compartment, and inside, not a blueprint for a new toaster oven, but a strange, pulsating device emitting an ominous, soft glow. It looks less like factory equipment and more like something ripped straight out of a sci-fi movie's oh crap moment. The metallic scent of burnt steel mixes with a sharp, acrid smell he can't place, sending a shiver down his spine. This isn't just unusual. This is full-blown Houston. We have a problem territory. Our working man just stumbled onto a very, very unwelcome side hustle for his employer. So, John, being the stand-up guy he is, decides to go through the proper channels. He heads to Foreman Henderson's office, a place that smells perpetually of stale coffee and crushed hopes. The cheap fluorescent lights hum overhead, casting an unhealthy glow on Henderson's already pallid face. John lays out his discovery, the device, the weird shipments, the whole kit and caboodle, expecting concern, maybe even a thanks. Miller, you saved the day. Instead, Henderson just stares at him, his face a mask carved from granite. The air feels heavy, almost suffocating, as Henderson's voice, a low rumble, dismisses him with a wave of his hand. Miller, you stick to punching rivets, not holes in company policy. The metallic scrape of Henderson's chair as he pushes back feels like a final pronouncement. John's words, earnest and worried, just hit a wall of corporate indifference, or worse, complicity. It's the thudding realization that the system he's always trusted is either blind or actively involved. The only sound is the rhythmic tapping of Henderson's pen on his desk, a mocking beat to John's growing anxiety. This isn't just a miscommunication. It's a brick wall, subtly vibrating with unspoken threats. As John drives home, the familiar rumble of his old pickup truck is suddenly accompanied by a new, unwelcome companion, a sleek, dark sedan that just happens to be taking all the same turns. The metallic screech of his worn suspension as he swerves through traffic is a familiar symphony, but now it's underscored by a growing sense of dread. He glances in his rearview mirror, the glint of chrome reflecting the setting sun, confirming his fears. This isn't a coincidence. This is a we know where you live kind of follow. The tires of his truck chirp protestingly as he takes a sharp, unexpected turn, trying to shake his tail. He hears the faint, almost imperceptible whine of their engine as they match his pace. It's a classic move, but no less effective at getting the heart pounding like a jackhammer. The silence inside his truck is deafening, punctuated only by the clicks of his turn signal and the increasing thrum of his own adrenaline. He feels the subtle vibrations of the road, normally a comfort, now a path to an unknown threat. This isn't just about a weird shipment anymore. This is about someone sending a very clear, very unsettling message right to his doorstep. Maybe he should have just stuck to complaining about the vending machine. John bursts through his front door, the wood groaning in protest, only to find chaos. His humble home, usually a sanctuary of predictability, is now a war zone of overturned furniture and scattered belongings. The faint, cloying scent of an unfamiliar cologne hangs in the air, a phantom presence that screams intruder. His wife, Sarah, stands trembling by the kitchen counter, her eyes wide with terror. The gentle clatter of displaced dishes on the floor and the nervous catch in Sarah's breath are the only sounds. And then he sees it, a chillingly precise note, pinned right to their refrigerator, a silent, stark white declaration of war. The paper feels cold, sterile, a stark contrast to the warmth that usually emanated from their family hub. The words are clear: stay silent, or your family pays. It's a gut punch, turning his simmering suspicion into a roaring inferno of protective rage. The casual cruelty of the message, juxtaposed with the violation of their personal space, makes the blood pound in his ears. This isn't just about strange devices anymore. This is about his world, his family, being pulled into a dark undertow he never asked for. His working hands, usually so adept at fixing things, now clench into furious fists. They just picked on the wrong working man's family. Big mistake, asterisk asterisk with official channels, clearly a bust and his home invaded. John knows he can't call the cops. Who would believe a factory worker over a massive corporation? Especially when the cops probably thought he just misplaced his tinfoil hat. So he does what any self-respecting working man does when faced with an existential threat. He goes to his garage. The place is a symphony of forgotten projects and lingering oil smells. A shrine to "I'll get to it someday." His hands, calloused and strong, tear through dusty old toolboxes. The metallic clatter of wrenches and sockets echoing in the cramped space. He's not looking for a superhero suit, just anything that can bridge the gap between a normal guy and a guy who needs to protect his family. He pulls out a heavy-duty pipe wrench, its cold steel feeling surprisingly reassuring in his grip. The subtle rasp of rust against his fingers, the distinct metallic tang in the air, these are the familiar textures of his world, now repurposed for a desperate fight. He finds a forgotten length of chain, its links rattling like a warning. It's not pretty, it's not fancy, but it's his. This is where MacGyver meets blue-collar grit really kicks in. Looks like some bad guys are about to learn that a man who can fix a broken engine can also fix a broken kneecap. John knows he can't go it alone. He tracks down Mike, his initially dismissive coworker, to their usual haunt, the Rusty Nail, a dive bar that smells faintly of regret and stale beer. The dull thud of pool balls colliding and the low murmur of conversations usually fill the space, but tonight, for John, it feels like an echo chamber for his anxiety. Over a couple of lukewarm beers, because even impending doom deserves a cold one, John spills everything. Mike, initially skeptical, just stares, taking slow sips. Hidden devices, Mike, in our beams. This isn't just overtime. It's a terrorist plot or something. The clink of their glasses is unusually sharp in the tense atmosphere. Mike's face, usually open and jovial, slowly contorts into a grim realization. The sheer absurdity of it all is slowly overshadowed by the raw fear and desperation in John's voice. The subtle tremble in John's hand as he sets down his glass, the cold condensation on the glass itself, seems to drive the reality home. Mike, a loyal friend despite his initial cynicism, finally nods. "Alright, John, what's the plan? Rambo?" It's a joke, but the nervous tremor in Mike's voice belies the bravado. Now, it's two working men against a shadowy organization. This is going to be fun for exactly no one involved. Midnight, the perfect time for some unscheduled factory maintenance. Wouldn't you agree? John and Mike, looking less like industrial spies and more like two guys who just remembered they left the oven on, creep through the shadows toward Liberty Steel Works. The massive brick walls loom, silent and imposing, a stark contrast to their usual daytime roar. Their boots scuff lightly on the gravel, every crunch sounding like an air horn in the oppressive stillness. John, using his intimate knowledge of the grounds, apparently he knows where all the blind spots are, thanks to years of avoiding angry supervisors, leads them to a secluded section of the fence. Mike pulls out some heavy-duty bolt cutters. The metallic snip as the chain links give way sounds unnaturally loud, a jarring intrusion into the night's quiet. The raw, tearing sound feels like a violation, a breaking of the peace that's about to get a whole lot louder. The cold metal of the cutters against his gloved hands, the subtle vibration as they slice through steel. It's a tangible act of rebellion. They slip through the gap, to average Joes stepping into a very non-average situation. Let's hope they remembered their lunch pails, because this overtime is going to be a long one. Once inside, the factory transforms from a familiar workplace into a shadowy labyrinth. The echoing clang of their footsteps on the concrete floor seems to magnify every sound. John, surprisingly agile for a man who usually just operates heavy machinery, spots a surveillance camera. Without a moment's hesitation, his trusty pipe wrench becomes a weapon. With a sickening thwack, metal meets plastic and lens, sending a shower of sparks and glittering glass shards across the floor. The brittle snap of the plastic casing and the tinkling chime of falling glass announce their presence with a dramatic flourish that would make any action hero proud. The cold, smooth grip of the wrench, now vibrating from the impact, feels strangely empowering. Mike winces. Subtlety. John, subtlety. John just grunts, already moving on. It's clear our working man has decided to forego the ask nicely approach and jump straight to the smash things with heavy tools strategy. A solid plan if you ask me. especially when you're up against bad guys who probably don't appreciate a polite "excuse me." Are those illegal devices? They finally breach a hidden control room bathed in the sickly green glow of multiple monitors. The low, incessant thrum of the servers fills the air, a mechanical heartbeat of impending doom. John, who usually only deals with spreadsheets for inventory, surprisingly manages to hack into a central terminal thanks to Mike's slightly questionable IT knowledge. And that's when they see it. Not just weird devices, but detailed schematics of bioweapons, chillingly labeled for specific, densely populated urban centers. A cold wave of dread washes over them. The metallic tang of fear, mixed with the sterile smell of electronics, is almost palpable. But the real kicker? A terrifying countdown timer, flashing in angry red numbers. 1 hour 58 minutes and 37 seconds. A global launch sequence has already begun. The gentle hum of the machinery now sounds like a malevolent purr. It's not just their factory anymore. It's the entire world. Talk about a bad performance review. John's eyes narrow, a desperate resolve hardening his expression. They just upgraded from breaking and entering to saving the world. No pressure. Just as they're trying to figure out how to stop a global catastrophe with the combined knowledge of welding and basic troubleshooting, the entire factory suddenly erupts. A piercing, blaring siren slices through the air, vibrating through the very floor beneath their feet. Red emergency lights begin to flash furiously, painting the vast, echoing space in an ominous, pulsating crimson. The deafening roar of the alarm is so loud it physically hurts, making conversation impossible. It's the sound of being caught, a visceral punch to the gut. The sudden burst of light and sound is disorienting, designed to create panic. The subtle tremor in the steel structure around them, usually imperceptible, now feels like the factory itself is groaning in protest. John and Mike exchange a grim look. Their stealth mission just went full loud and proud. Looks like the bad guys figured out that average Joes are little to good at industrial espionage. Time to earn that hazard pay, fellas. The blaring alarm is quickly followed by the distinct crack of gunfire. Armed guards, appearing as if from the very shadows, begin to swarm the factory floor. John and Mike, suddenly less engineers and more targets, sprint through the labyrinthine corridors. The metallic whine of bullets whizzing past their heads, followed by the deafening clang as they embed themselves in steel beams, creates a terrifying symphony of destruction. The air grows thick with the acrid smell of gunpowder and the faint, sweet tang of ozone from the sparks. They duck behind massive presses, the cold, greasy metal vibrating with the impacts, showering them with metallic dust. Every step is a gamble, every corner a potential ambush. The frantic scrabble of their boots on the concrete floor and the ragged breaths they gasp are almost drowned out by the chaos. It's a high-stakes game of industrial hide-and-seek, and the Seek team has automatic weapons. John, feeling the vibrations of every near miss through the floor, realizes they're not just fighting for answers anymore. They're fighting for their lives. And maybe, just maybe, for their dental plans. Amidst the chaos, John spots Foreman Henderson trying to slink away into a loading bay. The scent of burnt powder and tension fills the air. Henderson! John's voice is a low growl, filled with fury and betrayal. Henderson spins, revealing a small, surprisingly lethal-looking pistol. For a moment, the world seems to slow. But John, fueled by a primal need to protect, isn't the same man who stood nervously in Henderson's office. With a surge of unexpected speed, he lunges. There's a lightning-fast blur of motion, a sickening thwack as John slams Henderson's wrist against a cold steel beam. The sharp, guttural cry of pain from Henderson and the metallic clatter of the pistol hitting the concrete floor are chilling. The cold steel of the beam against John's palm as he maintains the hold, the subtle vibrations from Henderson's struggling, drives the point home. "What did you do, Henderson?" John's voice, usually calm and measured, cracks with raw emotion. Henderson, now whimpering, just stares back, fear in his eyes. Turns out, you can't push a working man too far without getting a little pushback, especially when his family is involved. Consider this Henderson's final, very painful performance review. With the countdown ticking and more guards closing in, John realizes they need to bottleneck the enemy. "Mike, cover me!" he shouts, his voice strained over the din of gunfire and shouting. He grabs a portable welding unit, because of course he knows how to use one of those, and starts dragging heavy, discarded metal sheets. Sparks fly in a dazzling shower, illuminating the grim determination on his face as he rapidly fuses chunks of metal into a makeshift barricade. The blinding flashes from his torch, the high-pitched hiss and crackle of the welding arc, the metallic clang of new sections locking into place. It's a symphony of desperate construction. Mike, meanwhile, is doing his best action hero impression, providing sporadic, albeit not terribly effective, cover fire with Henderson's dropped pistol. The sharp crack of the pistol and the pew-pew of the bad guy's automatic weapons create a rather chaotic soundscape. John feels the heat of the welding torch on his face, the vibrations of the impacts against the steel, pushing him faster. It's not pretty, it's not perfect, but it's theirs. Who needs a SWAT team when you have a skilled welder and a very motivated friend? Probably still needs a SWAT team, but hey, improvisation is key, leaving Mike to heroically and somewhat haphazardly defend their improvised fortress. John presses onward. His mission: stop those blasted bioweapons. He smashes through a reinforced door, the wood splintering with a satisfying crack, and bursts into a cavernous chamber. His breath catches. Dozens of the glowing, pulsating devices are ranged in neat rows, each one an ominous beacon of destruction. The sterile hum of the machinery, amplified by the sheer number of devices, vibrates through the air, creating a chilling, almost hypnotic rhythm. The room is bathed in an unnatural, alien light emanating from the devices themselves, a stark contrast to the gritty, industrial aesthetic of the rest of the factory. He can almost feel the latent energy, the cold, clinical promise of devastation emanating from each one. It's a truly terrifying sight, a factory floor transformed into a morbid nursery for global catastrophe. John's working man instincts kick in. He's not going to just stand there. He's going to dismantle this horrifying assembly line, one rusty wrench at a time if he has to. Because sometimes the best way to save the world is with a little old-fashioned elbow grease and a whole lot of righteous fury. With the global countdown relentlessly ticking, John goes full human wrecking ball. He lunges at the nearest device, his hands moving with desperate precision, fueled by adrenaline. He yanks at wires, the plastic insulation tearing with a harsh rip, tiny sparks spitting from the exposed copper. He uses his trusty wrench to smash circuit boards, the brittle crack and crunch of failing electronics a perverse satisfaction. He cuts fluid lines, a sickly green liquid oozing onto the floor, hissing faintly as it touches the cold metal. Each violent act of dismantling is accompanied by an erratic beat from the device, a mournful wail as it dies. The air is filled with the smell of ozone and the acrid tang of burnt plastic. His muscles scream in protest, but he ignores the pain, focusing on the tactile feedback of breaking the sinister machines. Every snap, every tear, every smash is a victory against an invisible enemy. He's not just destroying equipment, he's taking back his factory, his peace, and potentially the world. It's messy, it's loud, and it's the most satisfying day of work he's ever had. Take that, corporate overlords! John is rapidly running out of steam and devices. More armed guards, looking increasingly annoyed that their bioweapon factory is being repurposed by a disgruntled employee, close in. Just when it seems like our hero is about to get a very permanent vacation, the main factory doors suddenly explode inward with a deafening crump. The sudden blast of cold night air and splintered metal is accompanied by the thunderous pound of heavy boots on concrete. Police SWAT teams, looking much more prepared for this than John and Mike ever were, storm the facility, guns raised. Mike's earlier, frantic distress call apparently got through. The guttural shouts of the officers, the sharp, authoritative clicks of their weapons, and the metallic clatter of their gear create a chaotic symphony of arrival. It's like the cavalry, but instead of horses, they've got tactical vests and a serious attitude problem. The bad guys, clearly not expecting backup for the working man, look genuinely surprised. And who could blame them? It's not every day a factory worker accidentally orchestrates a full-scale police raid. Looks like John's reputation just got a serious upgrade from reliable to legendary. Amidst the flashbangs, the shouts, and the frantic drop your weapons commands, a new figure emerges from a previously hidden office. It's none other than Mr. Silas, the CEO of Liberty Steel, looking impeccably tailored even in the middle of a tactical nightmare. He stands with unnerving composure, a serene, almost triumphant smile playing on his lips, as if this whole SWAT raid on his illegal bioweapon factory was just a minor inconvenience. Like a coffee spill, the metallic tang of gunpowder and sweat in the air seems to invigorate him. His calm demeanor, contrasted with the cacophony of the factory, is truly chilling. A working man indeed, Mr. Miller, Silas purrs, his voice surprisingly soft amidst the din. The cold, analytical glint in his eyes confirms it. He's the one pulling the strings. The true mastermind, not just some faceless corporate entity, but a man who values profit over humanity. And honestly, for a moment, John almost wishes he'd just stuck to complaining about the faulty espresso machine in the break room. This guy is a whole new level of villain with a smirk. It's almost impressive, in a please stop trying to end the world kind of way. Silas's smug grin is the last straw. John, forgetting the SWAT teams, forgetting everything but the threat to his family and the world, lets out a guttural roar and charges. It's not a graceful charge, but it's packed with years of repressed frustration and raw, working-class fury. The two men clash amidst the wreckage of the factory floor. A symphony of heavy thuds and sickening cracks. Silas, surprisingly adept despite his fancy suit, lands a few painful blows. The precise snap of his punches feeling like sharp, cold cracks against John's ribs. But John, fueled by pure adrenaline and the desire for justice, fights with the primal ferocity of a cornered animal. The metallic tang of blood, the coarse feel of Silas's expensive fabric under his calloused hands, the searing pain of a well-placed kick, it's a visceral, no-holds-barred brawl. Every punch John throws carries the weight of his threatened family, of the betrayed workers, of the world he's trying to save. The clang of metal, the grunt of effort, the sharp intakes of breath, it's a raw, brutal ballet of working-class grit versus corporate evil. This isn't about winning. It's about making sure Silas never hurts anyone again. And let's be honest, it's also about finally getting to punch your boss. A universally relatable desire. I think the fight rages, a whirlwind of fists and fury, until John, summoning a final, desperate surge of strength, slams Silas against one of the deactivated bioweapon devices. The dormant, sickly green glow from the device momentarily illuminates Silas's face, now contorted in a mask of pure defeat and disbelief. The thud of his body against the cold, inert machine is surprisingly quiet amidst the continued activity of the SWAT team. The cold plastic of the device pressing against his back, the faint, lingering hum of its deactivated circuits, serves as a grim monument to his failed ambition. As SWAT officers descend, their stern faces reflecting in the faint glow, Silas finally gets what's coming to him. The metallic click of handcuffs is a deeply satisfying sound, a punctuation mark to the end of his villainous scheme. John, bruised and battered but triumphant, leans against a steel beam, the cold metal a welcome comfort against his aching back. The adrenaline slowly drains, leaving him utterly exhausted. He might not have gotten a bonus, but saving the world and punching your evil CEO. Priceless. Though I hear the hero discount at the local diner is pretty good. Hours later, as the first rays of dawn paint the sky in hues of orange and purple, John stands outside the factory. Battered but unbroken. The pervasive scent of burnt plastic and industrial grime still hangs in the air, a stubborn reminder of the night's chaos. Sarah, his wife, gently holds his arm, her touch a grounding warmth after the cold violence. Mike, looking equally weary but with a newfound respect in his eyes, stands beside them. The soft murmur of police radios and the metallic clatter of investigators going about their work create a strange, almost peaceful backdrop to their quiet moment. John glances back at the factory, no longer a symbol of monotonous labor, but a battlefield where he fought for everything he held dear. The cold morning air on his face, the faint rumble of distant traffic, these are the simple sensations of a world he helped save. He might still be a working man, but now he's a working man who knows he can stand against any tide. The world might still be messy, but some things are worth fighting for, even if it means getting a little grease on your hands. A profound sense of peace washes over him, deeper than any exhaustion. He did his job, and then some weeks pass. The dust settles and life slowly, painstakingly, starts to knit itself back together. The factory is under new, thankfully less villainous, management, and John's heroic deeds are mostly kept under wraps because nobody wants to explain bioweapons at a shareholder meeting. We find John where he's always been happiest, in his garage, calmly tinkering with his trusty old pickup truck. The gentle clink of his wrench against metal, the familiar scent of oil and gasoline, the satisfying thud as a part falls into place, these are the sounds and smells of his quiet rebellion. A faint smile plays on his lips. He's still a working man, but now, he understands that true strength isn't just in lifting heavy things, but in standing up for what's right. Even when the odds are stacked against you like a ridiculously unstable Jenga tower. It's a powerful reminder that even the most ordinary lives can hold extraordinary courage. What John showed us is that heroes aren't always wearing capes or spandex. Sometimes, they're just wearing a grease-stained work shirt and wielding a pipe wrench, ready to get their hands dirty for the people they love and the world they believe in. His journey reminds us that the fight for a better tomorrow often begins with the quiet courage of an everyday person. We all have the power to make a difference, to be the working man or woman who stands up when it matters most, building a future brick by brick, or, in John's case, by dismantling a global catastrophe one evil device at a time. The world is a better and slightly less explosive place thanks to him.